Hello, welcome to the CSA Leaders Network Organizers Toolkit Part 2. Why create a local group? Why do CSAs attend CSA Leaders Network meetings? Why do they want to get together with each other? Being with like-minded individuals makes a big difference in why it's valuable for CSAs to attend. CSAs have come together and they've learned the same body of knowledge. They have demonstrated through the passing of the CSA exam that they understand the value of knowing the older adult as a whole person, and in dealing with older adults and their families using a unified approach and working with other CSAs and other valuable professionals to help bring all the necessary resources to a client or their family. They want to develop valuable relationships. They want the relationships with other CSAs as well as other important resources within their community, both in terms of for-profit, nonprofit, government, academia, etc. They like the idea of facilitated programming that involves a subject matter expert bringing them in, drawing the audience in to have conversation about topics that we all care about as CSAs, as opposed to just having some one individual come and stand in front of them, speaking at them with maybe some brief Q&A. So this real involved facilitated programming is more beneficial. We've also found panels, really CSAs are very attracted to panel discussions about topics in terms of the industry, older adult issues, health, social, legal, financial, ethical issues, and really going in depth and understanding industries in the aging fields. CSAs love help with their continuing education credits and the ability to earn them regularly and have them tracked and reported directly to SCSA so that they know they're always on tap to receive those 30 credits that they need every 3 years. Group community outreach, informing the public of the value of the CSA designation, is very important to CSAs as well. And this is a way that you could get together as a group, do things like panel discussions presented to seniors, looking at case studies and seeing how a CSA would respond to a particular situation compared to someone in the same industry who does not have a CSA. It gives them a chance, the CSA, a chance to shine. Constantly learning about improving our best practices in business is of great value. And through in-depth vetting, creating a network of extraordinary resources, as I said earlier, made up of nonprofits, private and public sectors. This is great value to CSAs and makes them want to attend the meetings. I mentioned continuing education credit before, and it's nice to know that regularly CSAs can be earning their credit and not finding that as they get to their 3-year point, they need to scramble and figure out how to get the 30 credits. So every time a program which has been approved by SCSA is given at a particular CSA Leaders Network meeting, if it's 50 to 60 minutes, including Q&A, there is one continuing education credit issued. And the topics: health, social, legal, finance, and ethics pertaining to older adults and or to the aging industries. You can contact the liaison who will connect with the continuing education coordinator at the Society of Certified Senior Advisors for pre-approval of a program in order to get it qualified for CE. And then once that happens, the CSA must sign in and sign out at any meeting that has a program for continuing education, and those sign-in sheets are to be scanned and emailed to the liaison, who will then send them on to the continuing education coordinator, and those credits will be posted directly to those individual CSA's accounts. Here's some suggested programming ideas. We already have developed a program called Designing the Perfect Network, another Vetting Professionals and Yourself, and another one, Your Online Presence. And those have been very popular and used by some of the CSA Leaders Network groups in terms of starting their group programming, as well as bringing it back later on to revisit the issue. So this helps fill in the holes in a CSA's business network, as well as looking at the holes in the group itself. So if the CSA Leaders Network, for example, is missing someone in elder law or a geriatric care manager or some other profession in the aging fields, and they feel they'd like both the organization would like to have a member, a CSA who is a member of the group who fits that profile, as well as there may be CSAs who need that particular person. So it's a great idea to look at the holes in the network, both of the CSA Leaders Network group, as well as that of the individual members of your group, and then determine building a relationship with those industries that are missing, with individuals within those industries that are missing. This is an opportunity to invite them to be part of your programming, to present on a topic that's relevant. In-depth exploration of individual industries and jobs. For instance, in Denver, we had a very successful panel where we had Class A, Class B, and registry for in-home care. That's medical, non-medical, and the non-medical are Class B and registry. So it was interesting to understand the difference. It was interesting to see what the skilled and non-skilled regulations were in terms of the particular state that we were in when we had that meeting. So it was fascinating that we learned not only did we know now how to refer clients correctly, but we were very informed about that particular industry and could speak to the specific differences. Business best practices are other great programming ideas, whether it be technology, many other things. You can always bring in those topics. Group interaction and extensive Q&A are really well received, but make it fun, and socializing is certainly welcome. In Denver, we try to do a quarterly social. A lot of groups do holiday get-togethers. So it's nice to keep the social side as well as the business side and the education side going in your group. Packaged programs will be available with handouts too for all organizers. Here's some other examples of programs that have been successful on transportation issues within a given metropolitan area, care management and assessment. As I said before, we did an industry analysis on in-home care. You can do that with any industry. We've also done end of life, Medicare, Medicaid, elder abuse, caregiver shortage crisis, new trends in aging, technology, could be housing. I mean, the sky's the limit. As we know, there are so many topics within the fields of aging. Successful meeting strategies. These are just some tips based on groups that are in existence, things that we've paid attention to. Avoid the talking heads. Being talked at isn't as fun as participating in a discussion. Panels, using a compare and contrast style. Many times we've had competitors in the room and talking about what they all do, and it allows the individual CSA to draw their own conclusions in terms of what they need for their particular clients. Have a greeter at your meetings. Make sure that everyone, CSAs, candidates, and guests, all feel welcome and included, and they have a great understanding of what the group is about and how they can participate. Always use sign-in sheets. For regular meetings. Sign in, sign out has to be done for continuing education, and then a separate sheet for guests. When you have guests sign in, there's a place for them on the sign-in sheet to determine if they would like to be contacted by the Society of Certified Senior Advisors for more information. If they check no, they will not be bothered or in any way, but we then would like all of the sign-in sheets for guests and for continuing education to be scanned and then emailed to the liaison so that they can be sent on to the appropriate person at SCSA. We encourage that everyone, when they introduce themselves, following their name, say, "I am a CSA," their company name and industry. And that's all we really say at the meetings during the introductions. We don't do what is typically done in leads groups or other networking groups where they'll go on for 30 seconds up to 2 minutes with a repetitive speech each month about, who they are and what their business is about. We've set up a binder and we'd like to also do this electronically where members can go and look at all the other members and get all their contact information. The 30-second elevator speech can be written on that form, their bio, any information they would like to share, they can put on that form and then it can be viewed. With the binder, we like to have the printed form, their headshot is included so they can see who's who, as well as a page behind that which houses all their business cards, and they can keep that page filled with business cards so people, as the binder gets passed around at every meeting, they then get to take a card. So the greeter should be inviting all of the guests to speak, and they are more than welcome to give a longer introduction so we could get to know them. The CSA who's brought them is welcome to introduce them. If a guest has come without another CSA, the greeter will certainly be sure to introduce them to the group. I want to talk about the sustainability of groups, so how you get them to last once the hard work of developing them is done and they're running. There's two different formats that I'm going to talk about here. Currently, most groups in the CSA Leaders Network national group presence are gathering groups. So they have an organizer or co-organizers with planned successors. They'll have committees such as programming, continuing education, membership, community outreach, communications, whatever committees that the group would like to have. This is something that is sustainable, but there is a concern that over a long period of time, it might be a little more difficult to sustain without a board of directors. But one thing we want to be clear is that these groups are all independent entities. They are not directly affiliated in a legal way with the Society of Certified Senior Advisors, so they all stand alone. If indeed a board of directors is established, then it becomes the need for a 501c6. 501c6 is a not-for-profit, which is not a charity, so there is no tax break for things on a 501c6 is the same way it would be for a 501c3. So a typical board of directors may have a president or co-presidents, a president-elect or a vice president, secretary, treasurer, and then varying committees. But when you are a formal 501c6, this is where a treasurer becomes necessary, a bank account, and then reporting to the IRS as a result. So many groups have decided at this point they don't want to go down that road. They're staying as more informal gathering groups. Here are some important objectives of the groups. We want to always be increasing membership. Members come and go, it's normal in any group, and working to keep the membership up and active is very important. Maintaining a steady flow of guests coming to monthly meetings is important. That in turn helps increase membership. We would love it if more people obviously would become CSA CSAs. We care that this education be out there and that the people who are choosing to work with older adults are well informed about the individuals that they're serving. So it benefits the individual groups as well as the Society of Certified Senior Advisors and seniors and their families. Connect interested guests to the SCSA liaison who will pass the information on to National Account Manager. Okay, I mentioned earlier that that will only happen if they give their permission. Another objective is a significant presence in the community. We want you out there volunteering, which you get continuing education credit for, sitting on boards of directors, participate in government committees, walks, advocacy, show your leadership, speak and write for local publications, get involved, demonstrate that CSAs take a strong leadership position in their communities. Be sure to post meetings and events and photos to social media. You'll be given a LinkedIn account for your group as well as a Facebook account, but there are many free calendars and websites where you can post what's going on in your group, your monthly meetings or events, and get the word out. But make sure that you share the work and make it fun. No one person needs to take a group on themselves in terms of the forming or the running of it. We need to share to make lighter work. We need to share to make deeper relationships, enjoyable experiences, share the passions that we all have for older adults, be creative, and it will, in essence, cause a very sustainable group. So thank you for listening to the CSA Leaders Network Organizers Toolkit Part 2, and I hope you now know why it's important to create a local group. Thank you.